Alright, moving on to the Holies. This is the highest level Holy Chimaera. It's a Greek monster, and the description is pretty much correct. It is the offspring of Typhon and Echidna. It also means it's related to the other such monsters as Orthrus or Cerberus. The myth that surrounded it is that he was slain by the hero Bellerophon with the help of the winged horse Pegasus. But after slaying Chimaera, Bellerophon thought he was basically one of the gods. So as he was flying up to Mount Olympus on Pegasus, Zeus sent a gadfly and stung Pegasus, which kicked him off and tossed Bellerophon to his death. The Chimaera depiction is accurate, is part lion, goat, and with a serpent for a tail. The next one is Baihu. This is when the Suzling are the four great beasts, the four heavenly beasts of Chinese myth. And they all represent, there are 5 major ones, and they all represent the 5 elements. But the major 4, including Baihu, also represents the seasons and the directions. Baihu is also replaced sometimes in this amongst the four heavenly beasts as the Kirin, which is the Chinese version of the unicorn. And it represents west and metal, and also autumn, so this depiction is pretty much correct. But the next one is Feng Huang. Feng Huang is another one of the major Chinese animals. Under the name Shuqi, she's the guardian of the south and of the element fire. Feng Huang is normally the name of the Chinese version of a phoenix. It usually looks like a pheasant, and is the king of all feathered beasts, namely all the birds. And it only lands on the tsung, or I think the parasol tree, and eats bamboo seeds. The phoenix is a common cultural phenomenon in Eurasia, as it also appears in, I think it stems from Mesopotamia, like the Simurgh, the rock. The phoenix also comes from Arabic as well. But this is the Chinese take on it. Its name in Japanese is Suzaku. Senri I couldn't find, but its description actually changes per game. In Persona 3, instead of describing a lynx, it describes a wildcat. And in Imagine, instead of either a lynx or a wildcat, it's described as a fox. Which I think accounts as no surprise, because foxes in Japanese myth are supernatural entities. They're often associated, I think this stems from the Susing, or the fox sprites in Chinese myth, as the fox has the ability to change into human form and seduce men to steal their power, but their tails give them away, which faults their disguise. I couldn't exactly find Senri, so if you want to help me find it in any other resource, go ahead. The unicorn is actually common in pretty much most, if not all, Eurasian myths, and it's basically, the description is a horse with a single horn. I've also heard that it also has like cloven hooves like a deer, and the tail of a boar, etc., as described in Beagle's The Last Unicorn. In different cultures, it has different names. For instance, as I said before, in Chinese, it's called the Qilin. It basically looks like it's basically like a scaly horse with a dragon's head and deer characteristics. In Japanese, it's called the Kirin. In Tibetan, I think it's called the Suro. I think it may have stemmed from the antelope in the area. Shiisaa, this is the lowest level holy, and I think it actually stems from Chinese, as this looks not unlike the Chinese dogs of Fo, which are basically like lion-like dog creatures that are seen outside of buildings as certain statues. And in fact, Shiisaa here sounds kind of like the Chinese words shiji, which means lion, and Japanese shishi, which also means lion as well. And these are actually common statues seen outside of many buildings in Chinese and Japanese culture. Especially, you might see some outside of the temples in Persona 3. I'll wrap this up